Hello, Heike. My name is Evandro. Welcome, Radar Alternativo.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me. I think this is like my first Brazilian interview actually, so awesome to be here.
Yes. Manu,
Anytime.
eu queria fazer a primeira pergunta para ela. Primeiramente, eu queria que você agradecesse a ela com essas palavras. Obrigado, Heike. É um grande prazer a sua presença aqui no Brasil, na América Latina, na Radar Alternativo.
He's saying that he's actually very, very happy and thankful for you, to have you here. He's actually very excited about that. And it's really nice to have like an artist like you in Radar Alternativo, that is his project. So he's welcoming you.
Wow, thank you so much. That makes me so happy. That makes my day. I don't actually do a lot of interviews, but I've always wanted to do an interview with someone from Brazil because I think you guys are lovely people, so warm, so supporting. So it's honestly happy to be here.
No Ison, ela trouxe uma atmosfera espacial. Pergunta a ela como foi o processo criativo desse projeto.
Here we actually say Ison, but I want to hear your pronunciation. Is Ison or Ison?
Fun. Yes.
Ison. All right.
It doesn't matter how I pronounce it. It's you know, your accent is what makes it sound beautiful and charming. So say it however you want.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He's asking, how was the creative process with this project for you?
With Ison.
Yeah.
So Ison, I would say, started as I was doing Lorelei. That was my solo project, and I think at the time Daniel really wanted to create a project that we could do together. Sometimes I feel like it was a spin-off of Lorelei, but with him writing the music, but really with my themes and, you know, inspiration in astronomy and the visual aspect and really just the story of it all, the style of it all. So honestly, I didn't get too involved with the writing of the music. I handled everything else. So I would make suggestions on how to restructure things, but really he wrote the music. Apart from the song you say, that's actually a Lorelei song originally that got used for Ison. So yeah, it was just a project that we started together, and I actually named the project Ison. I was a huge fan of Comet Ison. I had a big passion for it. So I knew back then already that if I have a project or a band one day, I'm gonna call it Ison. So in a way, it's a little sad to see it still out there, knowing that I named it. It's like my baby with my style and everything. So, but you know, it is what it is.
Heike Langhans fez parte do projeto Zon de 2015 a 2019, permanecendo na banda por 4 anos. Durante esse período, ela colaborou com Daniel Enged em álbuns de ambient post-rock, como Andromeda Skyline e Cosmic Drone.
Essa questão da estética sci-fi e as melodias, por que essa abordagem?
So Mike and I are definitely sci-fi nerds, and everything that we read or watch or talk about, it becomes such a passion, and we can't help but write it into the music somehow. And I feel like Remina, so with Remina, we're much more involved. We're both like equally involved in the writing. It's such a fun process. That's what sets it apart from Ison. It's completely different in the sense that both of our passions really get thrown into this all at once, and we amplify each other, we bounce ideas off each other. So I think everything is driven, all the themes, the melodies, the stories we create within the songs, it's all driven by our passion for the unknown and for sci-fi.
Como é a parceria dela com Mike Lember no projeto Remina?
He's asking how is like not only like the partnership, but the relationship on like working with Mike on the Remina project?
It's honestly, it's like a dream. I am always so surprised because we're both quite like antisocial writers when we're alone. We like to go into our little bubble and experiment and play around, but he's the first person where I can actually sit with him in a room together. You know, he's got his guitar, I've got a little keyboard or whatever, and we just start writing ideas, and before the night is over we have like 3 new song ideas, and that does not happen quite often these days. I feel like back in the 80s people could sit in a room together and they could like write a song, but these days everyone's behind their computers and in their own bubble. So I find so much value in the idea that we can actually sit together and create music. It's like a dream. And once we have the idea, we'll sit on it for a few days, we'll come back to it, then we might pass it back and forth between each other if there's little things we want to add or listen to. And I think it's such a streamlined process that it's like a fountain of ideas. We never run out of ideas because we're also always together. We like actually spending time together. So yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's a dream team.
Manu, por gentileza, como é que ela cuida da voz? Qual o processo? Porque nós lidamos com muitas pessoas que trabalham com música e a gente sabe que é um grande desafio para uma artista de alta performance como ela, né? E como que ela faz para se preparar antes de subir aos palcos?
This is actually I'm interested to hear about this a lot because we have a lot of artists here that doesn't take good care of their voices, and he wants to know how you do it, like if it is something that you take care of, because here it's not that common actually.
Yeah, well, I'm not always a good example for how to go about things, but I will say that it's important to keep practicing. Whenever I've gone through a period of not singing, even for a month or 2, I always notice the difference when I get back into it. So just keep practicing, because you will maintain your vocal cords if you keep practicing. And also, don't go singing when you haven't had enough sleep. Sleep is very important. The difference between sounding great and sounding like utter crap is just sleep. You know, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't even say, because a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't be smoking. I've heard people that smoke that have amazing voices, better than mine even. So I've come to think that clearly it's got nothing to do with that. But sleep, definitely. I suppose being able to breathe properly, that's where the smoking is a bad thing. But if you're doing exercise regularly, walking, just getting your heart rate up, being able to keep those long breaths, I think that's very beneficial.
Pergunta ela se já veio ao Brasil alguma vez ou se tem vontade de fazer um show no Brasil.
This one, I think people will be very eager to hear the answer.
I know what it is.
You already know. Yeah, he's asking if you have ever been to Brazil, and if not, or if yes too, but if you think about being here like in the future.
Yeah, so we've never been to Brazil, and it is right at the top of our bucket list. We've had a few offers for festivals, but if that is confirmed at any point, that would only be in 2026. I think we just missed the mark for this year. And Mike and I play a game called GeoGuessr quite a lot, where you have to guess where you are on Google Maps. And South America is so intriguing to us. We really want to learn more about not only the differences between the different countries, but the cultures, because we have just got such a big interest in it from playing that game. And The other thing is that my grandmother grew up in Angola, there's a lot of Portuguese. So my grandmother spoke both German and Portuguese and English and Afrikaans. But I always thought that Portuguese was such a beautiful sort of singing, passionate language, and I would just love to hear everyone around me speaking Portuguese. So we definitely plan to come there. It's all a matter of, as you know, we don't travel unless we're able to go play places. So yeah, it's definitely on the cards.
Yes.
We will come to Brazil.
O cenário do metal atmosférico, né, tem evoluído bastante na América Latina. Como ela se identifica com esse novo projeto, né, o Remina, dentro desse contexto?
Consume, listen to music, like it's different. Here, where we live, Bahia, I think that now is growing so fast, like the interest for like rock music, metal.
Oh, wow.
So that's why he is doing what he is doing, because his project like is growing a lot here. And he was actually talking a little bit about that, because like when it comes to metal here too, like the doom metal is like growing and growing, so it's like evolving somehow. And he's asking, how do you see that, like that increasing future of like the doom metal, not only like here in Brazil, South America, but like in general here in Latin America? Do you see like some opportunities? What are the next steps, like on Remina and other projects? Like, what is the future for us?
So at the moment, we're full steam ahead with Remina. We have a new album coming out this year. We have a new single coming out in between now and next week, so keep an eye out for that. We also want to revive Light-Filled Reverie, because it's been a while since we had a Light-Filled Reverie album. We have some new ideas for that, and we were just talking about it today actually, so that would be good news for people who keep asking us, does Light-Filled still exist? I, of course, have to finish a Lorelei album, or even just a collection of more singles. So it's actually quite a busy year forward, and we don't have plans for any new projects. We were thinking of maybe starting some kind of fun project with friends here in New Zealand, but honestly, our time is so divided between what we have and also collabs and all those kind of things, as well with working a normal, job. I work for myself, so that in and of itself becomes quite hard, managing your time and having discipline to do your arts and do your music. But definitely a lot going on this year.
Como surgiu a ideia de gravar o Faith Fire Beloved com Aaron Stenthofer, do My Dying Bride?
Unexpected surprise for me. Never would have thought that would be possible. I mean, I grew up listening to My Dying Bride, and so one of our friends, Valentin, he's like a poet, and he wrote all these beautiful lyrics, and his best friend, who was responsible for writing all the music, had passed away. And so he had all of this, beautiful writing, but no music. And so Mike agreed to write all of the music, and I naturally agreed happily to do, the vocals. But we realized that really we want a very strong male counterpart that would fit that more gothic, romantic, doom kind of style. And I think Aaron was perfect for that. So yeah, it was, after I heard the first song, I was just like, wow, okay, this is actually happening. So I felt like a little child, but so happy with the outcome. I still pinch myself. I feel like it's a bit surreal. I mean, honestly, I already thought that South America had the biggest doom metal following as it is. So to hear that is actually, that makes me happy, because for the last 5 years, I don't know, I felt like I'm so afraid that some genres in metal will die off, just because I don't see that many new bands I see, more of the same, which is great. But I wonder, do the young people these days, are they into doom metal, or they're all listening to, I don't know, metalcore or whatever? So I'm very happy to hear that. And though I can't predict the future, if what you're telling me is true, then the future can only be good. And that, that's great news for us, because we have such a passion for doom metal and we don't want to stop making it anytime soon. So no, that's awesome to hear. All the best.
Vamos lá. Quais são os próximos passos que ela planeja ainda esse ano com o projeto Remina?
Manu, por favor, diz a ela que seria um sonho, né, para muitos aqui no Brasil, vê-la um dia no Summer Breeze, quer dizer agora o Bang Open Air, né? E quem sabe não podemos esperar uma apresentação do Remina aqui no Brasil.
He's saying that would be a dream, like for us, for everyone that is a fan of yours, to see you in some festivals here, especially and one called Summer Breeze that is very famous here. So he would be very excited to see. All of us would be. So.
Luckily, I can keep a poker face and plead ignorance here, because Mike deals with all of the promoters.
Yeah.
So whatever festivals have contacted us, I can't say. But if everything goes according to plan, we will be playing at a big festival. It is definitely on the cards. It is really something we want to do. So your wish will come true.
Oh, that's good.
Para finalizar, que já estamos chegando no final do... já dá tempo de a gente só fazer as considerações finais. Heike, né, thank you por essa entrevista, né, para todos aqui da América Latina. Agradecemos muito a você pelo seu tempo, né? Vamos estar acompanhando todos os lançamentos.
Thank you. I'm speechless. And honestly, it has been so lovely talking to you guys. I am happy to do 10 more interviews if you want. I feel like there's so much we can talk about, and the previous questions and the emails as well, we can go through all of that. Honestly, it's really nice. I don't do this often, but when I enjoy it, I'm happy to come back. And the Brazilian fans mean so, so, so much to us. You have no idea. It's like we feel the love, and a lot of the times we feel like everything we do for you, as cheesy as that sounds.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for saying that, and I really appreciate that.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Tchau, tchau, bye bye.